So, The Whale. The Whale made me cry for the first time in 4 years. And it's an experience that I just can't really describe, but I can try my best to. The movie's directed by Darren Aronofsky. He's done work such as The Wrestler, Black Swan. Both are good films in my opinion. I think all his films are pretty good. But The Whale is definitely the one that hit me the most. Not because I relate to it in the sense of obesity, but just his story of resilience in the ending, which I think really tied the whole movie together. The film was based off a play by Samuel Hunter, and the main actor, of course, Brendan Fraser. You've heard all about it. I was afraid going into the movie that his performance would be overhyped, but it wasn't. Like, there was no mediocre acting from him at all. It was all perfect on spot. It was like, that is the perfection of acting in my opinion, up there with Heath Ledger and even Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. The Whale is a movie you see Brendan Fraser, and you just know he has like a 99% chance of winning an Oscar for Best Actor. I would be very surprised if he doesn't. It's a pretty gut-wrenching story, often at times may be considered disgusting, and that's definitely alluded to in the film by using those exact words, disgusting. It's about an obese man who is about to die and wants to reconnect with his daughter, whom he left at a young age to pursue a man which was his student. And obviously his daughter did not like that, and in parts of the movie it is clear that she has some homophobic views, at one point calling him a slur, the F slur. But I keep on using him and her and all these pronouns, so let me get the names out of the way. Charlie is the obese man, the father. He's played by Brendan Fraser. Ellie is the daughter, played by Sadie Sink. They are the two most influential characters in the film, aside from Liz and Thomas. Liz is Charlie's friend and a nurse who helps him, or has been helping him, just survive. And Thomas is a missionary who you meet at the beginning of the movie, just showing up at the right time to meet Charlie. Thomas is played by Simpkins, and Liz is played by Chau. Another character in the movie is Mary, or Ellie's mom. She's played by Samantha Morton. She does a very good job of portraying a mother who is clearly in distress, deals with alcoholism, smoking, stuff of that nature, and it has clearly passed on to her daughter, who also has some troubles.
You're an amazing person, Ellie. I couldn't ask for a more incredible daughter.
Are you actually trying to parent me right now?
Who would want me to be a part of their life?
You know, in almost every movie, you have a few flat characters, like ones that are just there to be there. But every single character in this movie, The Whale, is round. They all have something to them. Even Dan, the pizza guy, who you only see once. You see his shadow a few times, but he even has a character arc. Not a good one in the end, but a character arc nonetheless. Now, I do really like this film. I think the acting is the only thing that keeps it alive. If you didn't have these actors, or weren't able to pull these performances from these actors, the movie just wouldn't feel right. The story's pretty basic and has been done many times before. I don't see this movie winning any huge awards aside from maybe makeup, because that bodysuit, that is spot on. And I know it has caused some controversy because people accuse that and the movie as a whole of kind of perpetuating fat phobia. I think people definitely view obese people with a more negative connotation, and the film uses that to help better the story and make you feel for Charlie. At one point, you see him battling with a chocolate bar, thinking about whether he should eat it or not, and in the end he decides to eat it, and another one. And I think people can relate to this even if they aren't quote-unquote fat or obese, because everyone has their down days. There's sometimes when you're having a bad day and you want to eat a punch of chocolate. I know I've had those days. I know you've probably had those days too. But in the end of the day, I think they make us a better person overall. They round us out.
I know these rules can feel constraining, but remember, the point of this course is to learn how to write clearly and persuasively. Think about that. Think about the truth of your argument.
The movie is based off a play, so at times it does feel like a play. There's just points where someone's walking and they'll stand in a certain position and it just feels like stage blocking, but on a screen. But I'm not a fan of it, because I think it makes the movie different than films that have similar plots. So it definitely differentiates itself from other films. After watching this movie, I don't think it's a movie that I want to watch again. So sadly, I wasn't able to see the movie the week it came out because it just wasn't playing in any theaters near me. Luckily, it was my dad's birthday and he was like, hey, let's go watch a movie. So we went with the family, watched that. Probably not the best film to watch on your birthday, but he heard it was good, so he wanted to watch it. And I know I really wanted to watch it. Unfortunately, halfway through the movie, my dad, mom, and brother fell asleep, and I was the only one awake watching the movie. And by the end of the movie, I was crying, and they woke up, saw me crying, and they were like, why are you crying? What happened? Tell us about this moment. And I'm like, just let me cry for a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just want a second to take in the emotion, take in what you just watched happen. But it was actually kind of funny looking back on it. I have never cried during a film. The closest I've come to crying during watching a movie was Schindler's List, still my all-time favorite movie. And that's something that, like, I should cry about because I am Jewish and a descendant of Holocaust survivors. But I just didn't cry. Somehow The Whale evoked a lot of emotion in me. I think in part because the film definitely tries to do that. Sometimes the score is overpowering. You can tell they are trying to make you cry. Fortunately for them, that worked for me. For others in the theater, it didn't. I think some people were able to kind of tell that they are trying to make you cry, and it kind of took them out of the film. So that's definitely a downside of the movie, but it worked on me. The last time I cried was 4 years ago at my grandpa's funeral. So it was kind of nice to cry. I'm not a person who displays much emotion. It's not like I try to hold it in or anything. It's just a sort of natural thing that I do. I want to cry, but I just can't. It's kind of odd. Someone once told me that I'm the definition of toxic masculinity. I definitely don't like that title, but maybe when it comes to emotion, I am.
Sorry.
I don't like this. This isn't a good idea.
I'm sorry.
You say you're sorry one more time, I will shove a knife right into you. I swear to God.
What? What's it gonna do? My internal organs are 2 feet in at least.
Overall, The Whale is a great film, despite its downsides. Definitely a sad one. I think it's worth the watch.